I had never ridden a recumbent trike, so I went out and tried them. Here I talk about a test ride and my observations about the pros and cons of recumbent trikes. I find that as I get older all the time, touring with my electric bicycle and bicycle camper is increasingly demanding for me. As I'm aging and losing my energy level, fatigue is a big concern. For that reason, I wanted to investigate the possibility of replacing my e-bike with an electric recumbent trike. But since I had no experience with trikes, I had never even ridden one, I reserved a visit to Hamilton Trike and Bent, the largest recumbent trike store in Canada. Cora, the owner of the store, provided me with a lot of information about this type of pedal-powered three-wheel vehicle, and she let me try several models in her large parking lot. In case you're interested, I placed a link to a video about my visit to her store at the end of this one. After my visit to Hamilton Trike and Bent, I posted a video about Cora's shop on YouTube. Then Jorge del Cid, a recumbent trike owner from Ottawa, saw my video and he reached out to me to offer me to try his electric recumbent trike. And offered me to have a look and maybe try out his recumbent trike. So Jorge, how long have you had this trike?
I had it for the past 3.5 years.
3.5 years, yes. And how did you buy it new or?
No, I bought it used from a guy who was coming from California.
Oh.
And he was on sale. Take the opportunity. I was looking for one, and I got it.
Great.
But then I started trying to convert it to electric assisted. I did it myself, whole installation.
So it's a hub motor?
It's a hub motor. I put the battery on top of here.
This is quite different from a bicycle, and I thought that steering with one hand would be easier with the trike, but I find it not any easier, but it's really a matter of getting used to it, I would think. Having had the chance to go for an hour-long ride with an electric recumbent trike, am I ready to adopt this type of vehicle for towing my bicycle camper and going on long highway trips? My feeling is that riding one of these is far different from riding a bicycle. I've been riding a bicycle since the age of 10, so I grew up on two wheels. To properly assess my comfort level with a recumbent, and before committing to using one instead of a bicycle for my travels, I need a lot of experience riding one in different circumstances on different kinds of road and for long rides. I do find the concept very appealing, and when COVID-19 is over, I'll want to rent one for a few days to give it a good try. Then I'd have to buy a second-hand one to gain more experience. All this got me thinking about the advantages and disadvantages of a recumbent trike. Let's start with the advantages. Comfort. First and foremost, comfort. That's where recumbent trikes really shine. It's reasonable to think that you'd be less tired after a day in a recumbent trike than a day on the saddle of a traditional bicycle, and that for me is the main reason I'd consider that type of transportation. Stability. It is possible to capsize with one of these, but that wouldn't be as frequent as falling off a traditional bicycle. A trike would definitely be safer on a slippery surface like loose gravel, black ice, or loose sand on pavement, and flying over the handlebars would be much less likely than with a regular bike. My impression, but I don't know this for a fact, is that it may be more stable in a side wind. I think that on a trike you're less exposed to the wind and you'd have the inherent stability of 3 points on the ground as well as a lower center of gravity. Another instance when a bicycle is unstable is when you're forced to ride too slowly, like when you reach near the top of a very steep hill towing a heavy trailer and you don't have enough power to overcome the force of gravity and you come to a full stop on the steep incline. In that case, you can go neither up nor down. You're in trouble. With a trike, you wouldn't fall. For sure, a trike would be a huge advantage for someone with balance or coordination issues. Energy efficiency. Because of the lower seating position, the rider of a recumbent would offer less resistance to the wind and be able to go farther on a charge. Even though they are heavier, they require less energy to drive them. And if you wanted to travel on solar power, a trike can more easily be fitted with solar panels than a bicycle. Now for the disadvantages. Visibility. Because on a trike we are seated much lower, in city riding it would be more difficult to see what's ahead when we're behind a car, and we would be less visible to car drivers. When I'm cyclotouring, I sometimes find myself riding in city traffic unexpectedly. Maintenance. Trikes are more complex because of the third wheel, the complicated front steering mechanism, and the very long chain. I think fixing a flat tire on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere, especially on the rear wheel, would be complicated. Having 3 wheels, each one lined up separately, would increase the chances of a flat tire. More complex to repair, and some bike shops aren't equipped to fix them. More bulky. The non-foldable trikes would be harder to transport and to store. It wouldn't be possible to take them onto a bus, subway, train, or plane. But I see no downside in that respect to a foldable one. The width of a trike. The wheel track of trikes is 32 to 34 inches wide. That would make it harder to avoid a pothole. It would make it more dangerous for the right-hand wheel to fall off the edge of the road, and it would make them impossible to get through the narrow entrances of some bicycle trails. More difficult to get through doorways as well. Handling. The very large turning radius of a trike can be a big disadvantage when it comes to making a U-turn on a bicycle path, even more so if you have a bicycle camper in tow, or handling it in tight spaces like inside a garage. When I travel, I often stop and turn around to film a scene of something interesting I saw on the way. It would be more cumbersome in the city as well, especially when crossing intersections. Riding in the rain. On wet pavement, you'd be more exposed to splashing than with a regular bicycle. Not terribly serious if you're wearing proper rain gear. Efficiency. The pedaling position is less efficient because in a steep hill you can't use the weight of your body on the pedals and the upward force of your arms on the handlebars to give you extra leverage. At last and not least, the price. The added complexity of recumbent trikes, and perhaps the lower number of them being manufactured, make them much more expensive than bicycles of the same quality. In conclusion, I'm not going to rush out and buy one, but I am interested in experimenting with them, mostly for traveling on trails. I hope you found this video of interest. Between now and when I publish my next video, if you'd like information about electric bicycles, my solar cargo trailer, or my Barrio bicycle camper, or if you're interested in buying one of my books on sailing, visit my website, www.robertbarrio.com. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to my channel by simply clicking on the red icon at the bottom right of your screen. And until next time, never quit cycling.